Bryan Lewis joins us with Intellicheck, stock symbol IDN, and their website, Intellicheck.com, just like it sounds. And of course, they're talking about identification, verification, and authentication.
And vacation.
Well, when you go on vacation, that's what it is.
Well, that happens. Hey, would this make it easier to stop a lost, I lost my credit card, like this?
Let's ask him. Yeah, let's talk. That's a great question. Is another vertical potentially things like credit cards, Bryan?
Well, one of the main verticals we serve is the issuance of new credit cards. That's what the banks use us for.
Yeah.
Is when you go in and apply for one of their cards, over the telephone, they send you a text, which then prompts you to scan the back of your ID. We authenticate it, send it back. Or if you walk in the store, you make any kind of purchase, what's the first thing that the retail clerk says? Would you like to open up a credit card and save 5% or 10%?
Right.
What we do at that point, that's the number one pain point where the bad guys know they can go shopping in your name. They'll know what stores you have credit cards at, and they'll walk in and say, hey, I forgot my card. So all they ask you for is the last 4 digits of your social security number, and then they visually inspect your license, and they walk out with it. And they know where you don't have credit, and they go into those stores and open up an account. And the average person gets hit with, the FTC says, $10,200 worth of theft of goods and services in their name when their identity is stolen. And it takes, at best, 6 months and 200 hours of your time to clear your name.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not just and by the way, it's not just the function that insurance or your credit card company will bear the burden of the identity theft. But the issue that really comes down to, though, is what it costs all of us, because there's those extra interest rates and extra fees because of that. Mm-hmm. That's where those things come from, right, Bryan? I mean, isn't that how they mitigate some of those losses? Because typical consumer doesn't really lose that much if they're responsible at how they're doing business, because typically the credit card company will eat it for you. But they mitigate. It ends up costing all of us more, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's our time, and they're going to recoup that $14.7 billion somehow.
Yeah.
And that comes out in the fees that we all pay for the goods and services and everything else.
Yeah.
Those yearly fees for your credit card are going to something.
Bryan, fantastic stuff. I really appreciate you taking the time again. Once again, Bryan Lewis, the CEO of Intellicheck. Their stock symbol, by the way, they are publicly traded, IDN.